The sky was not blue anymore. It was red, bright red. Fire moved across the clouds like waves in the ocean. People ran through the streets. They screamed. They cried. Some stood still and looked up with wide eyes. Thousands of ships floated in the sky, big, black, and silent, like monsters watching the world. There were 9,900 of them. Some counted, some didn't, but everyone knew this was not a visit. This was war. In a small town far from the big cities, a 16-year-old boy named Leo stood on the roof of his house. He did not run. He did not cry. He watched the sky with calm eyes. His younger sister, Lily, held his hand. "Leo," she said, shaking, "what's happening?" "They are here," Leo said, just like Dad said. Lily looked at him, confused. "What do you mean? You knew this would happen." Leo nodded slowly. "Dad told me before he disappeared. He said, if they ever come, remember the stars will burn, but you must not." Lily didn't understand, but Leo remembered every word. Their father was a scientist, not a normal one. He worked in secret. He told Leo stories, not bedtime stories, stories about space, war, and a plan called Project Phoenix. Leo never thought they were true. Until now. Suddenly, a loud sound shook the air. It was deep like thunder, but not from the sky. It was coming from the alien ships. A giant beam of blue light shot down from one of them. It hit a city far away. Leo could see the smoke rise even from here. "They're attacking," someone shouted on the street below. More beams came, more explosions. Cities burned like paper. Tall buildings fell. Roads cracked. Planes fell from the sky. People tried to fight. The army sent jets. Missiles flew. But the alien shields were too strong. The jets exploded before they could get close. Soldiers screamed on the radio. Leo turned away from the noise. He walked down the stairs into the basement of his house. Lily followed. "Where are we going?" she asked. "To the safe box," Leo said. In the corner of the basement was an old metal box. Leo opened it. Inside was a black device, like a phone, but thicker. He touched the screen. It turned on. A message appeared. "Project Phoenix is active." Below it, "Go to site ECHO." Lily's eyes grew wide. "What is this?" Leo's hands shook, but his voice stayed calm. "It's starting. Dad knew this would happen. He left this for me." The device beeped again. A map appeared on the screen. It showed mountains, forests, roads, and one red dot. That was Site Echo. "We have to go there," Leo said. Lily grabbed his arm. "But, Mom." Leo looked down. Their mother had gone to the city that morning. The city that just got hit. His face went cold. He didn't cry. He couldn't. "We can't wait," he said. "If we stay here, we'll die." They packed quickly. Water, food, warm clothes. Leo put the device in his bag. He found a picture of their family. He kept it in his pocket. Outside, the town was full of smoke. People were driving fast. Some fought each other. Some prayed. Some just sat on the ground, lost. Leo and Lily moved through back streets. Quiet. Careful. Above them, the ships moved slowly. Watching. Waiting. Suddenly, a loud sound came from the hills. One of the ships was falling. It spun in the air and crashed into the trees. Fire exploded. But one of them was down. Leo stopped. "They can fall," he whispered. "They are not gods." Lily looked at the smoke in the trees. "Should we go see?" Leo nodded. "Yes. Maybe there's something there, something we can use." They changed direction. The path to Site Echo could wait. Maybe this crash would help them understand. Maybe it would tell them why the aliens came. Maybe it would lead to a bigger secret. As they walked toward the crash, a voice came from Leo's device. A woman's voice. Survivor 7, do you copy? This is command. Site Echo is under threat. We need you. Hurry. Leo froze. Someone's alive, he whispered. The world was falling apart, but someone still fought. Someone still believed in Project Phoenix. Leo looked at the sky. The fire was still there. The ships were still watching. But now, he had a reason to fight. The ground shook again. Another blast. Another city fell. Leo and Lily moved quickly, following the path toward the crash site. The world was changing fast. They couldn't waste time. The sky was still full of fire. The ships floated above them, silent and watching. As they walked, Leo's thoughts raced. The device in his bag felt heavy. He had no idea what Site Echo was, or why he had to go there. But his father's words echoed in his mind. If they come, remember the stars will burn. What did it mean? Why did they have to go there? It felt like a riddle. Leo, Lily said, her voice shaking. What if we don't find anything? What if we don't make it? Leo looked at her. He wanted to tell her it would be okay. He wanted to promise that everything would be fine. But the truth was, he didn't know. No one did. I don't know, he said quietly. But we have to try. The crash site wasn't far away now. They could see the smoke rising higher in the sky. They walked faster, the heat from the burning trees on their faces. When they reached the crash site, they stopped. It was bigger than they had imagined. A huge, twisted alien ship lay in the forest. The metal was black and broken. Fire still burned inside it, but it was slowing down. The wreckage was deep in the trees, and the air was filled with the smell of smoke. Leo's heart beat faster. Was this the sign they needed? Was this what would change everything? Stay close, Leo said to Lily. He took a deep breath and started toward the wreckage. They moved through the smoke, careful to avoid the hot spots. The ship had crashed on its side, and one of its giant engines was split open. Leo could see something glowing inside. The ship was strange, not like anything he had ever seen before. It was like the future, like something from another world. Leo, Lily whispered, "Look." She pointed to a spot near the back of the ship. There was something there, a small door. It was open. Leo's heart raced. Could someone be inside? Could there be answers? He stepped toward the door, but suddenly, the device in his bag beeped loudly. Leo stopped. He pulled it out and looked at the screen. The map had changed. A new dot appeared, far away, and the message on the screen flashed. Says you are VI4, OCATED. Communication failed. Area in danger. Leo's stomach tightened. Someone else was alive. But who? And why had communication failed? He glanced at Lily. She was scared, but there was no time to waste. They had to keep moving. Come on, Leo said, his voice low. We have to go inside. They moved quickly into the ship. The inside was dark, cold, and metal. It smelled strange, like chemicals and something else. The walls were covered in glowing symbols. Leo couldn't read them, but they looked important. Leo, Lily said, her voice small. What if it's a trap? Leo didn't answer. He didn't know. He didn't have all the answers, but he had to keep going. There was something here. He could feel it. They moved deeper into the ship, the sound of their footsteps echoing in the silence. At the far end, they found a room. It was small, but the walls were covered with strange equipment. In the center of the room was a chair. A figure sat in it, unmoving. Leo's heart skipped a beat. Was it an alien? He stepped closer. The figure wasn't an alien. It was human. A man, unconscious. He was wearing a strange suit, with wires and lights running through it. It looked like some kind of armor. Leo checked his pulse. The man was alive, but barely. We need to help him, Leo said. Lily stepped back. What if he's dangerous? Leo shook his head. He's human. He's one of us. He carefully touched the man's shoulder, trying to wake him up. It took a few moments, but the man's eyes opened slowly. His face was pale, but he seemed to understand what was happening. Who are you?" Leo asked. The man blinked, trying to focus. "Survivor, number 12. His voice was weak, but clear. "I was with the team. Project Phoenix." Leo's eyes widened. Project Phoenix, the same words from the device. "Where is Site Echo?" Leo asked quickly. The man's eyes flickered. He seemed to struggle to speak, but then he whispered, They found it. It's not what they think." Before he could say more, the ship shook. The walls cracked. Something was happening outside. Leo and Lily looked toward the door. The sky above was full of fire again, but this time it wasn't just the ships. Something was coming. The ship shook again, harder this time. The walls rattled. Dust and metal pieces fell from the ceiling. Leo grabbed Lily's arm and pulled her toward the door. "We have to get out," Leo shouted, his voice filled with fear. The man on the chair looked at them, his eyes wide with panic. "They're coming," he said, his voice barely a whisper. "They know we're here. We have to leave now. They're too strong." Leo didn't waste any more time. He pulled Lily out of the room and back into the dark, cold corridor of the alien ship. The shaking grew stronger. The walls creaked, and the floor beneath their feet seemed to move. "We need to find a way out," Leo said, his mind racing. The ship wasn't going to last much longer. It was only a matter of time before it collapsed or the aliens found them. They ran through the ship, past strange rooms and dark hallways. The ship's lights flickered, and the air felt colder with each step. Leo's heart pounded in his chest. Every second felt like an eternity. The map on the device was still active, but now it was flashing with warnings. It showed a red dot, moving closer. The aliens were searching for them. Leo's eyes darted around. They needed a way to escape. They couldn't stay here. Suddenly, they heard the loud sound of footsteps. Heavy, metal footsteps. They were coming from behind. "They're close." Lily gasped, her voice shaking. Leo looked ahead. The ship had an exit door. He could see it. They just had to make it there before the aliens arrived. They ran faster. But as they reached the door, it slammed shut with a loud bang. "No," Leo shouted, slamming his hand against the door. "It's locked." He looked around. There had to be another way. Then he saw it. A small panel on the wall. He rushed to it and pressed a button. A small, hidden door slid open. "It's a way out," Leo said, his eyes shining with hope. But before they could move, the man from the chair called out to them. "Wait," he shouted, struggling to stand. His face was pale, and his breathing was heavy. "You can't just leave. The aliens are coming. You need to know what's at Site Echo. You need to understand what it is." Leo looked at him, unsure, but there was no time to argue. The aliens were almost here. They had to leave. "We don't have time," Leo shouted. "We're getting out of here." The man's face twisted with pain. "You don't understand. You're part of it too. You're part of the plan. You can't just run. You have to stop them. You have to stop them before it's too late." Leo felt a chill run down his spine. The man's words made his heart race, but he didn't have time to think about it. The aliens were coming. They had to escape. Leo grabbed Lily's hand, and together they ran through the small door. It was dark outside, and the ground was covered with smoke and ash. They were back in the forest. The wreckage of the alien ship was behind them, burning and collapsing. Leo looked around. The sky above was still filled with the alien ships, but there was no time to look up. They had to move fast. "We need to get to the town," Leo said. "We can find a way out from there. We can find a vehicle." Lily nodded. "But Leo, where are we going? What's at Site Echo? What's this project? Leo didn't know. He didn't have all the answers, but the device in his bag kept beeping, showing a new path, a new direction. Just follow me, Leo said, trying to sound confident. We'll figure it out. They ran through the burning forest, the air thick with smoke. The sound of alien ships above them was deafening, like the roar of lions waiting to pounce. Leo could feel the ground shake under his feet, the explosions from the ships shaking the trees. After a few minutes, they reached the edge of the forest and saw the remains of the town. It was burning too. The buildings were half destroyed, and the roads were cracked and broken. It looked like a war zone, but Leo didn't stop. They had to keep moving. Then they heard a sound, a low rumble. Leo turned around. The sky was full of fire again. The ships were moving closer. The aliens were searching for them. They're here, Leo whispered. Lily grabbed his arm, her eyes wide with fear. What do we do now? Leo looked around. There had to be a way. Then he saw it. A truck, abandoned on the side of the road. The keys were still inside. We can drive, Leo said, running toward the truck. We can get away. They jumped inside, and Leo started the engine. The truck roared to life, and they sped down the road, past the burning town and into the hills. Behind them, the ships moved closer. The aliens were hunting them, but Leo didn't look back. He focused on the road ahead. The map on his device kept blinking, showing them the way to Site Echo. But as they drove, Leo couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. They were running, yes, but running from what? And where were they really going? The answers were out there, and Leo was determined to find them, even if it meant risking everything. The truck rumbled down the cracked road, the tires kicking up dust and smoke behind them. Leo gripped the wheel tightly, his eyes focused ahead. Lily sat beside him, her hand clutching her seat. The world outside was chaos. Buildings burned, trees cracked, and the sky above was filled with the black shapes of the alien ships. They had to keep moving. The map on Leo's device was still guiding them, but the path to Site Echo was long. They couldn't afford to stop. Not now. Suddenly, a loud sound came from behind them. Leo's heart skipped a beat, a heavy rumble followed by a blast of air. He looked in the rearview mirror. One of the alien ships was diving toward them. Leo, they're coming. Lily screamed. Leo's hands shook as he slammed the gas pedal. The truck sped forward, the engine roaring louder. He could hear the ship closing in, the whir of its engines deafening. A beam of light shot down from the ship, barely missing them. The ground shook as the blast hit the road behind them, sending rocks and debris flying. Hold on. Leo yelled as he swerved the truck to the right, narrowly avoiding a tree. They were being hunted. The alien ship fired again. This time, the blast hit a power pole, exploding it into flames. Leo's eyes widened. The road ahead was blocked by falling wires and burning debris. We can't go this way, Leo shouted. He turned the wheel hard to the left, but the truck skidded, almost flipping over. Lily screamed, Leo, look out! In that moment, Leo saw something impossible. Up ahead, the alien ship had crashed. It wasn't just falling like the others. It had landed, its massive body lying twisted on the ground. Smoke billowed from its engines, and the air was thick with the smell of burning metal. The truck bounced and shook as Leo steered toward the wreckage. His heart raced. What was going on? Why was one of the ships down? They had to know more. Leo pressed harder on the gas, the truck flying over the uneven ground. He pushed through the debris, the sound of the engine struggling to keep up with the terrain. The ship's wreckage loomed ahead, dark and smoking. We have to stop, Leo said, his voice tight. We need to check it out. They barely came to a stop before Leo jumped out of the truck. He pulled Lily with him. What are we doing? Lily asked, her voice nervous. "We need to find answers," Leo said, looking at the crashed ship. He knew they couldn't afford to ignore it. This could be their chance. They moved quickly, their feet crunching on the dry ground as they approached the wreckage. It was huge, its black metal twisted like broken bones. Leo's eyes scanned the area, looking for any signs of life. Was it just an accident, or was it something more? Something deliberate. As they neared the wreck, they noticed movement. Someone, or something, was inside the ship. "Leo, do you see that?" Lily whispered. Leo nodded. There was a figure, stumbling out from under the broken hull of the ship. It was tall, cloaked in dark armor, and covered in blood. Leo's heart skipped. It was one of the aliens. But this alien didn't look like the others. It was struggling, dragging its wounded body toward them. Its face was different, less cold and more human. Leo felt a mix of fear and curiosity. Was this one different from the others? The alien stopped when it saw them. Its eyes glowed with a strange light. It opened its mouth, but the words it spoke were not in any language Leo recognized. "Are you human?" the alien whispered, its voice weak and raspy. Leo stepped back, his pulse quickening. Was this a trick? Was it a trap? But the alien seemed different, hurt and confused. It raised one hand, slowly, as if to show it meant no harm. Don't shoot," it said, its voice trembling. I want to help." Lily gasped. "Help? How can we trust it?" Leo didn't know what to say. Everything inside him screamed to run, to leave, to not trust it. But something about this alien felt wrong. It wasn't the same as the others. It wasn't attacking. It was pleading. The alien took a shaky step forward. "You need to stop them. The others, they're not like me. They came to destroy everything." Leo's mind raced. What was this alien saying? Was it true? Was this one different? "What do you mean?" Leo asked, his voice low. The alien closed its eyes in pain. They're afraid of what you have, what you've hidden, what's buried inside your planet. You don't understand it yet, but if you don't stop them, they will take it. Lily stepped closer to Leo. "What does it mean? What's inside Earth?" The alien's eyes opened again. They glowed brighter now, like fire. "The Phoenix," it whispered. "The power of the Phoenix is what they fear. They will do anything to take it." Leo didn't understand. He had heard the name before, Project Phoenix, but he didn't know what it meant. Why was this alien speaking of it, and why did it sound like a warning? Before Leo could ask more, the alien staggered, falling to the ground. "You must go," it whispered. "Find Site Echo. You're running out of time." Then the alien went silent. Its body went limp, its eyes dimming. It was dead. Leo stood there, frozen. What had just happened? Why had this alien helped them? Lily grabbed his arm. "Leo, we need to go. We can't stay here." Leo nodded, but his mind was full of questions. The Phoenix. What was it? Why did the alien fear it? And why had it tried to help them? The answers were out there, and Leo was determined to find them, before it was too late. Leo and Lily didn't wait. They couldn't. The wreckage of the alien ship was still smoking, the air thick with the smell of burnt metal and ash. The alien's words rang in Leo's mind. The Phoenix. Find Site Echo. They had to get there. But how? What did the Phoenix mean? And why had that alien, who was so different from the others, warned them? "We need to keep moving," Leo said, his voice steady despite the chaos in his mind. He turned to Lily, who was still staring at the fallen alien. She looked shaken. I don't understand," Lily whispered, shaking her head. "Why would it help us? Why would it warn us?" Leo didn't have the answers. He just knew they didn't have time to waste. The alien ships were still out there, still searching for them. Every second counted. "We'll figure it out when we get to Site Echo," Leo said. "Right now, we need to go. We need to stay ahead of them." Lily nodded, but her face was filled with doubt. Leo didn't blame her. He felt the same way. There were too many unanswered questions, but they had no choice. The alien had given them a clue. They had to follow it. They got back in the truck. Leo started the engine, and they drove off, leaving the wreckage behind. The road ahead was unclear. The map on Leo's device kept flashing, showing the path to Site Echo. But the path was far from straightforward. The ground was uneven, and they had to dodge the wreckage and debris from the alien attacks. The sun was beginning to set. The sky was a dark, fiery orange, and the air felt heavier with every passing minute. The further they went, the more they noticed the world around them falling apart. The cities were burning, the forests were dying, and the ground trembled with the aftershocks of the alien ships. "We're running out of time," Leo said, his voice tense. "If we don't get to Site Echo soon, we might never get there." Lily was quiet, her eyes scanning the surroundings. Then, out of nowhere, she spoke. "Leo," she said softly, "do you think they're right? Do you think Earth really has something that powerful hidden here?" Leo glanced at her. He wasn't sure what to believe anymore. The alien's words kept echoing in his mind. The Phoenix. What could it be? And why would the aliens fear it? "I don't know," Leo said honestly, "but I think we're about to find out." The road was getting narrower, the land more desolate. There were no more towns, no more signs of life. It was as if the world was slowly dying. Suddenly, the device in Leo's hand beeped. A new message appeared on the screen. "Site Echo, 5 miles ahead. Danger level, critical." 5 miles, Leo muttered. He looked at Lily. "We're almost there." But then, just as they rounded a corner, the truck hit something. It jolted to a stop, the wheels spinning uselessly. What was that? Lily gasped, clutching the seat. Leo got out of the truck, his heart racing. He saw the problem immediately. A huge boulder, nearly the size of the truck itself, was blocking the road. It had come from the side of the hill, where the ground had shifted. Leo's eyes darted around. The boulder wasn't just a natural rock slide. It had been placed there. Someone or something didn't want them to hit through. "We can't stay here," Leo said, pulling Lily out of the truck. "They're trying to stop us." As they moved away from the truck, they heard it. The sound of engines. Alien engines. Leo's heart dropped. The aliens were getting closer. "We need to move now," Leo shouted. They ran up the hill, their feet slipping on the loose earth. The alien ships were visible in the sky now, their dark shapes hovering over the landscape. Leo's mind raced. They couldn't let the aliens find them. They had to get to Site Echo before it was too late. After what felt like an eternity, they reached the top of the hill. And there it was. Site Echo. At first, Leo didn't believe his eyes. It wasn't what he expected. It wasn't a building or a base. It was a hole. A massive dark crater in the ground. And in the center of the crater was something glowing. "What is this?" Lily gasped. Leo didn't answer. He couldn't. All he could do was stare at the glowing light. It wasn't just light. It was energy, powerful and ancient. It pulsed in the center of the crater, and Leo could feel its pull, its warmth. This is it," Leo whispered. "This is what they were hiding." The ground trembled beneath their feet. Leo looked up. The alien ships were getting closer, their weapons aimed at the ground below. "Leo," Lily said, her voice shaking, "what do we do now?" Leo's eyes were locked on the glowing light in the crater. He didn't have an answer. But one thing was certain. They had found it. The Phoenix. And the aliens were coming to take it. Leo and Lily stood at the edge of the crater, staring down at the glowing energy. It pulsed like a heartbeat, steady and powerful. The air around it crackled, and Leo could feel the warmth on his skin, like standing too close to a fire. "This is it," Leo whispered, his voice thick with awe. This is what they were afraid of. Lily stood beside him, her eyes wide with fear and wonder. What? What is it? She asked, her voice trembling. Leo didn't know the answer. He could only feel its pull, as though it was calling to him. The energy in the crater wasn't just powerful, it was alive. Leo could almost hear it whispering to him, beckoning him closer. "We have to go down there," Leo said, his voice steady despite the fear creeping in. He knew they couldn't just stand there. The aliens were coming. They had to act. Suddenly, the sound of engines filled the air. Leo turned, his heart skipping a beat. The alien ships were descending fast. The ship's lights flashed, casting eerie shadows over the land. They weren't just coming to land. They were coming for the Phoenix. "We don't have much time," Lily said urgently, grabbing Leo's arm. "What are we supposed to do with it?" Leo stared at the glowing energy below. It was unlike anything he had ever seen. It wasn't just a power source. It felt like a weapon, something capable of changing the world, or destroying it. "I don't know," Leo admitted, "but we need to stop them. We can't let them take it." They began to climb down the steep sides of the crater, the ground loose and uneven beneath their feet. The closer they got to the center, the stronger the pull became, like gravity itself was trying to drag them into the energy. As they reached the bottom of the crater, the ground shook violently. Leo nearly lost his footing. The alien ships were almost there. They could see the shadows of the soldiers moving through the smoke-filled sky, preparing to land. "Leo," Lily cried, "we have to do something." Leo's eyes scanned the area frantically. He noticed a strange object embedded in the ground near the glowing energy. It was a pedestal, ancient-looking, covered in strange markings. The pedestal seemed to be the source of the power, the thing that was holding the energy in place. This must be it," Leo said, stepping closer to the pedestal. "This is the key." He reached out, his hand trembling as he touched the pedestal. The moment his fingers made contact, the energy flared brighter, and a deep, resonant hum filled the air. The pedestal glowed beneath his touch, and for a moment, it felt like the entire world was holding its breath. The ground rumbled again. The alien ships were landing, their dark forms casting long shadows across the crater. Leo could see the soldiers moving toward them, their weapons raised. "We don't have time," Lily said urgently. "We need to do something now." Leo's mind raced. He could feel the power of the Phoenix swirling in the air, growing stronger with each passing second. It was like it wanted to be released, to be used. But how? Then, the realization hit him. "The pedestal," Leo said. "It's a conduit. It's meant to focus the energy." He looked at Lily. "If we can activate it, we can control the power. We can stop them." Lily's eyes widened with understanding. "You mean, use the power to fight back?" Leo nodded. "Exactly." He reached out again, this time pressing both hands against the pedestal. The energy surged, flowing through him like lightning. It wasn't painful, but it was overwhelming. The force of it almost knocked him back, but he held on. The light from the Phoenix grew brighter, and for a moment, Leo felt a connection to it, like he was one with the energy, one with the very heart of the earth itself. It was alive, ancient, and it wanted to be set free. "Leo," Lily screamed. "The ships are almost here." Leo didn't answer. He was focused, his entire being consumed by the energy. He felt it flooding through him, and in that moment, he understood. The Phoenix wasn't just a weapon. It was life. It was a force of creation. It could heal, but it could also destroy. He raised his hands, and with a burst of power, the ground around him exploded. The air was filled with a deafening roar as a wave of energy surged outward, a shockwave that shattered the ground and sent a bright beam of light shooting into the sky. The alien ships above faltered, their engines stuttering. Some of them were forced back, crashing into the ground in fiery explosions. Others were lifted off course, spinning helplessly as the energy in the crater reached its peak. Leo's body was shaking, the power overwhelming him, but he couldn't stop. He had to keep it going. The Phoenix's power was now in his hands, and he was the only one who could control it. But then, as the ships began to fall back, Leo felt something shift. The energy in the crater started to fluctuate, as though it was unstable, as though it was being pushed too far. "No," Leo shouted, trying to hold on to the power. "I need to stop it. I need to stop it." Lily grabbed his arm, pulling him back. "Leo, you have to let go. You're going to burn out." But Leo couldn't. The Phoenix had already been awakened. It was alive now, and it didn't want to be controlled. With a final surge, the energy exploded outward, a massive shockwave that shook the very ground beneath their feet. And then, silence. The ground was silent. The air was thick with smoke, and everything around them felt unreal. Leo's body ached. He had never felt so exhausted in his life. The energy from the Phoenix had been too much, too powerful, but somehow he had survived. The alien ships were scattered across the sky, some of them crashing to the ground, their engines burning out. Others hovered, disoriented and falling apart. The wave of energy had thrown them off course, but Leo could feel the power still pulsing inside him. It wasn't over yet. Lily stood beside him, her face pale and her eyes wide with fear. "Leo, what did we do?" Leo didn't have an answer. He could still feel the power of the Phoenix, humming beneath his skin. The world was quiet for now, but the aliens weren't done. They would come again. They had to. They couldn't let this power slip away. Suddenly, there was a loud mechanical roar. Leo's head snapped up. One of the alien ships, larger than the rest, hovered above them. It was different, more advanced, more powerful. It had survived the blast. "We don't have much time," Lily said, her voice tight. "We have to stop them now." Leo nodded, his thoughts racing. He knew what they had to do. The Phoenix had given them a chance, but now they needed to finish it. The alien ship above them started to descend, its engines roaring as it aimed directly at them. Leo stepped forward, his hands still trembling from the energy he had unleashed. The ship's lights glowed, and its weapons began to charge. But Leo wasn't afraid. Not anymore. "Lily, get back," Leo ordered, his voice steady. Lily hesitated, but then she nodded and ran to a safe spot behind a large rock. She had seen what Leo could do with the Phoenix's power, but even she knew that this would be the final test. Leo stood alone at the bottom of the crater, facing the alien ship. He could feel the Phoenix's energy coursing through him, ready to be unleashed once more. He reached out, his hands trembling as he called on the power. The ship fired first. A beam of blue light shot down at him, but Leo wasn't fast enough. He threw his hands up, and a shield of energy formed around him, absorbing the blast. The force of it knocked him back, but he stayed on his feet. He could feel the energy weakening, but the Phoenix's power was still there, still alive. He closed his eyes, focusing on the power within him. He needed to control it, to direct it. The alien ship fired again, and this time, Leo wasn't going to wait. He raised his hands and aimed them at the ship. The Phoenix's energy exploded from him, a brilliant wave of light that shot toward the ship. The ship's shields flared up, but Leo pushed harder, sending a surge of energy directly into its core. The ship shuddered, its engines screaming as the energy overloaded its systems. The lights flickered, and for a moment, Leo thought it might explode. But then, something unexpected happened. The ship didn't just fall. It broke apart. Piece by piece, it disintegrated, its metal frame turning to dust in the air. Leo could feel the power draining from him, but he held on. He had to finish it. With one final burst of energy, the ship was gone. Leo collapsed to his knees, exhausted. The Phoenix's power had overwhelmed him, but he had done it. The alien threat was gone. The ground beneath him trembled again. But this time, it wasn't an alien ship. It was something else. Lily came running toward him. "Leo, are you okay?" she asked, her voice full of concern. Leo nodded weakly. "I think we did it." Together, they stood at the edge of the crater, looking out over the ruined landscape. The alien ships were all gone, their wreckage scattered across the sky. The power of the Phoenix had driven them back. But Leo knew this wasn't the end. The aliens would regroup. They would return. But for now, Earth was safe. "We saved it," Lily said softly, looking at the glowing energy in the crater. "We stopped them." Leo smiled weakly, but his eyes were tired. He knew the battle wasn't over. There would always be threats, always enemies to fight. But for now, they had won. Leo turned to the crater one last time, feeling the Phoenix's energy still swirling beneath his feet. It was a power that could heal, a power that could destroy. And in that moment, Leo knew one thing for sure. The Earth wasn't just a planet. It was a force of life. And as long as there were people like him and Lily, fighting for it, it would never fall. "We're not done yet," Leo said quietly, more to himself than anyone else. "But we'll be ready." And with that, they turned and walked away from the crater, knowing that whatever came next, they would face it together.